how to avoid looking like Gollum from Lord of the Rings whilst taking weight loss medications. Hey team, and welcome to this week's episode of The Inspired Show, the show that is dedicated to helping you become the best version of yourself physically as well as mentally. I've got a great episode for you today, especially if you are taking weight loss medications or you're thinking about taking them, because it'll stop you looking like Gollum from Lord of the Rings whilst you're on them. But before we get into that, if you've not done so already, don't forget to subscribe. It's completely free to do so, and it means you stay updated with every single episode we drop every single week. Smash a like on this episode as well if you find it helpful, and let me know any big takeaways or questions you have down below in the comments. So let's get straight into it. Now, there's a lot of people going down the route of weight loss medications to help them on their weight loss journeys. Whether that's the right or wrong way to do it, that is up to them to make that decision. However, if you are on those weight loss medications, one thing that we need to be very aware of is up to a lot of people are losing up to 40% of muscle whilst taking them. And a lot of people are taking them to look better. But if you're losing muscle mass, then you're probably not going to look the way you want to look. And you're probably going to end up looking like Gollum from Lord of the Rings. So I'm going to go through a few tips that you can start implementing today if you're on these medications to stop that from happening. So the first thing that we need to look at is our calorie consumption. Now, whilst being on weight loss medications, appetite is going to be very low. So there's going to be a high likelihood that your appetite means less food coming in, which means a bigger calorie deficit. Now, the bigger the deficit, the more chance of losing muscle mass. So we need to be very mindful that we are nourishing our body and giving it the energy it needs so it doesn't go into the muscles and break that down for fuel. So normally for people that aren't taking medications, I would say about a 10% deficit. However, if you are on medications, you can probably push that to 15% deficit because appetite simply isn't going to be there. Now, a 15% deficit isn't so severe that your body's going to start going into the muscle fibers and breaking that down for energy. So that's the first thing that's going to help us protect that muscle that we've got on our body. The second thing that we need to be doing is looking at our protein intake. Protein is the building blocks of the body, and if we're not getting sufficient protein through our diet, then guess what? Your body's going to look for it elsewhere, and it's going to look for it in your muscles. It's going to break it down, use it to get the protein it needs. So we need to be aiming for at least 1.6 to 2.2 grams per kilogram of body weight. That is a sufficient amount to ensure you're recovering from your workouts, helping wear and tear, protein synthesis, and preserving muscle mass. Now, you may find it difficult to get the protein in because appetite isn't there. This is where planning of your meals is super important. So breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. These are all ways we can get our protein in and make protein the cornerstone of every single meal. So for example, for your breakfast, build it around eggs. For your lunch, build it around chicken. For your evening meal, build it around salmon. And then snacks should be things like dairy products. You could go down the road of protein bars and protein supplements as well if you really needed to. And also things like eggs can be really great snacks. The third thing that we need is we need that stimulus, okay? You've got to be lifting weights. You've got to be doing some form of resistance training, because if you do not get resistance training in, the stimulus, the signals is not going to be there for your body to try and maintain the muscle that it's got, or potentially build some muscle if you're completely brand new to lifting weights as well. And the old notion goes, if you don't use it, you lose it. So aim for a minimum of twice a week. 3 is even better, and then 4 is out of this world. So focus on progressive overload, adding a little bit more weight each week, some more reps, some more sets, and that'll keep things ticking over nicely as well. The fourth thing that we need is we need to ensure that we're recovering from these workouts, and that comes down to improved sleep. We want to be focusing on nutrition, like we mentioned earlier, getting the calories in, getting the proteins in, and also rest between muscle groups as well. So don't go in and hammer your legs today and then hammer them again tomorrow. Your body needs time to recover. And then the fifth thing is being consistent with those. Like doing that for a week will help. But if you only do it for a week and then stop for a couple of weeks and then do a week and then stop, then you're not going to get bang for your buck and you're not going to get the desired result you want. So apply these principles while taking the weight loss medications, and I guarantee you it'll give you a much better look that you're striving for than if you weren't doing these. And this will help you build better habits and better behaviors for long-term success if and when you decide to come off the medications as well. So hopefully you found today's video helpful. If you did, let me know down below. Don't forget to smash a like on it as well. And if you've not done so already, don't forget to subscribe to the page. It's completely free to do so. Until next week, team, I will see you very, very soon.